Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. I'm CJ Tully, and it was a big weekend around the American League. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? I want to start off by talking about a team in the American League that I had some real high hopes for in the beginning of the season. It was not looking all too hot for them, but they are now currently riding a 5-game win streak after they won 2 of 3 against the Yankees, and they now sweep the Mets in their weekend series to bring the Mets to a 5-game losing streak. I'll get to a little bit of that in just a minute, but we look at this Athletics team, and they have been red hot. Like I said, a 5-game winning streak, and this has come with a lot of the younger talent starting to step it up, and some veteran talent in Jeff McNeil. He is now hitting .318 on the season with 3 RBIs and a .700 OPS. Jeff McNeil, I said, was going to be a great veteran presence for this young team, as they have signed so many young players to long extensions this past offseason and last year before that as well. You look at some of the bigger guys stepping up right now. Max Muncy, not the one that you guys are thinking of, but Max Muncy on the Athletics has made some real impact on this team early this season. Now hitting .305, 5 doubles, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and an .853 OPS. Definitely somebody who's surprising me this season. He stepped up in a big way, as some of the bigger sluggers on this team have not yet gotten it going. I'll get to that in just a minute as well. But Shea Langeliers is another guy who started the season red hot, now hitting .293 this season with 5 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a .914 OPS. A lot of that happened early in the season when the Athletics just weren't able to get it going. His bat was the offense that was supplying everything needed for this team. Tyler Stroderstrom, he had himself a good weekend as well on Saturday. He was able to go 3 for 5 RBIs with 2 home runs. A big day for him as he is starting to get his bat going as well. Now, I did say I'll talk about some of the sluggers that haven't quite gotten it going. And I want to start here looking at Nick Hertz. This season, just hitting .204 with 1 home run and 3 RBIs. Now, he was a monster last year. Everybody was expecting him to come in this season and pick up where he left off. He had major home runs last year. He had that game with 4 home runs as well. So there was a lot riding on Nick Hertz for this team coming into this season. He hasn't quite gotten it going. Still give him some time. He's still a very young player. Lawrence Butler's another guy who had a phenomenal season a few years ago. Just have not quite seen him getting it going either. Jacob Wilson, another guy who was hitting for phenomenal average last year, has just not been able to carry that as well. So that's everything going on with the Athletics. They beat the New York teams here in 2 series back-to-back. It's starting to get that ball rolling. They're starting to now take that #1 spot in the AL West, as they're 8-7 now on the season. So there's a lot to look forward to here for Athletics fans. I think everything is going to change for this team when they finally get their new stadium, their new home. They can start to brand it better, and these young players are going to be something to keep an eye on for a while. So it's good to see them take an early advantage here of this division. We know everything going on with the Astros and how they have completely fallen apart. There's been a slow start for the Mariners. The Rangers might start to get it going, but there is some real potential here for the Athletics to make a run, and I think that's somebody to definitely keep an eye on. Now, right before I get off this series, though, I do want to talk about the New York Mets, who I said I would get to, and who were just swept by the Athletics. It has not looked great for them. They are now currently riding a 5-game losing streak. You saw Bo Bichette get his first home run. Juan Soto's still been out. You haven't gotten a great start from Francisco Lindor. It's looking like the Mets are starting to met early. Now, the Phillies haven't had a great start to the season either, so they have a little bit of a buffer. The Braves and the Marlins right now are looking like the 2 best teams right now in the National League East. So with the Mets, obviously still time to make up some ground, but a very rough start for them. I don't want to say too much on the Mets, as I did say this was going to be a majority of it was going to be about the AL. So moving now back to the AL, I want to look at the Tampa Bay Rays, as they have also started to cement themselves as a real contender in the AL East. They are coming off a sweep of the Yankees to bring them to 8-7 on the season. They beat the Yankees 5-3, 5-4, and then 5-4 yet again. And this offense has been rolling, as well as a few starting pitchers that I want to talk about for this team as well. Going on here to Chandler Simpson. He has been a spark plug for this team. Top of the lineup, hitting .411, 4 RBIs, just 3 strikeouts on the season with 7 stolen bases and a .923 OPS. Chandler Simpson has been somebody that this Rays team has been able to rely on to get on base, make some noise, and allow their sluggers to bring him in. He's somebody that I don't think a lot of people had an eye on going into the season. We know his speed from last year, but he has been able to be a productive piece to this team, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of him. You can also look at Yandy Diaz, who we've seen now for a while with this Rays team, hitting .362 this season, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs, and a 1 OPS. Always getting it done is Yandy Diaz. Junior Caminero came on in a big way last year for this Rays team, 45 home runs, was in the Derby, an all-star. He was a phenomenal player. People were asking if he could continue that this season. Definitely a slower start, as he's hitting .246, 2 home runs with 4 RBIs, but definitely still a big piece for this team. If they want to make any noise going forward, it's going to rely on him to be that plug-and-play player, or be that spark plug player, much like Chandler Simpson has been for this team. Jonathan Aranda, he's been another great player for this team. 217 right now with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. You expect those to go up. He just had a great weekend series against this Yankees team, so expect those to go up. When you look at the Yankees, though, it was a rough series. It's been a rough few weeks here for this team. Like I just mentioned, what was going on here with the Athletic series, as well as the Athletics beat them in 2 of those games, but this team's starting to look a little rocky. They had a decent start to the season, but the AL East was not playing well. They got bailed out a little bit by the Red Sox not playing well. The Orioles didn't find their legs. You now see the Tampa Bay Rays starting to find their legs. But the Yankees, are they really going to be able to compete right now? There seems to be some malfunctions with plays and everything. We saw Jazz Chisholm and his comments about the play that he had made. He wasn't knowing the rules, said something about his hands being too cold. There's a lot going on with this team in a negative light. And obviously being in New York, it's all going to bring the lights to you, good or bad. So see what happens with the Yankees. But just like I said, Tampa Bay Rays now, winners of a few in a row as they sweep the Yankees in their weekend series. I do want to talk about a few more players on this Rays team, though, before we completely get off the team. The pitching, Steven Matz, 3-0 this season with a 3.94 ERA and 17 Ks. Love to see that. Drew Rasmussen, 1-0 with a 1.13 ERA and 17 strikeouts. And for me, Shane McClanahan has been somebody to keep an eye on this season. Does not yet have a win, but he is playing his first season since 2023 after so many injuries. The guy's finally back on the field, and he's very hard on himself. He even said after his first start how he wanted to be better. He wanted to be more aggressive. He wants to go out there and win for his team. Love everything about Shane McClanahan and hope to see him get back to the days of glory for himself. Going on to another team, though, in the AL East, the Boston Red Sox are starting to turn things around, and we saw that again this weekend. They've now won 4 of 5. They've started to get that ball rolling. I made a video on social media. You can check that out at Let's Talk Sports earlier last week that they just weren't able to get it going. They were 3-8 at the time, and they had no life. That night, they go and get their first win, so maybe a little bit of help by me there to get this team rolling. But a big piece in all of this, and a piece on this Red Sox team that I don't think many people were keeping an eye on early in the season, is Wilson Contreras. He now has 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. He's hitting .302 with a .957 OPS, and he's brought some grit to this lineup. We saw the little back and forth he had when they were playing in that Brewer series. Wilson Contreras can be that veteran presence to give this team something to look forward to. You have a very young team. You have Jarren Duran. He still needs to get it up, still hitting under 200. We see Roman Anthony. He has been struggling to start the season. Willie Abreu was your offense to start the season. He was the only one bringing in runs, getting on base. And maybe Wilson Contreras getting it going can be some kind of veteran leadership for these younger guys to start to turn around this lineup, as the pitching has started to turn around as well. Ranger Suarez just picked up his first win of the season this weekend. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs with 6 strikeouts. And that's coming off 2 very bad games for Ranger Suarez to start his time with the Red Sox. So those are some of the teams to keep an eye on. There's 2 players, though, in the AL that I also think we need to keep an eye on. Starting off again in the AL East, it's been a big weekend for them. Gunnar Henderson from the Baltimore Orioles is now with 6 home runs, 12 RBIs, a .242 average, and a .919 OPS. Now, Gunnar Henderson drew a lot of attention when he came into the league, had a great first half of the season. And then last year, we saw him start to fall off a little bit. The numbers weren't there. We started to see him the second half of the All-Star break, did not have the numbers that would really help to secure him as a big league player in this league. Bobby Witt and him are always going to be neck and neck as to who is the better player, and we were starting to see Bobby Witt run away with that. Gunnar Henderson is starting to show the pop this year. Like I said, already 12 RBIs. He's going to be a big piece of this lineup, starting off at the top there with Taylor Ward now also adding some power and some efficiency to the top of that lineup. I think Gunnar Henderson is going to have a big season, and Taylor Ward being at the top. And then you have Pete Alonso now following you. Adley Rutschman now hurt. That's some big news coming out of the Baltimore Orioles. But there are some pieces that can get the ball rolling, and it all starts with Gunnar Henderson, in my opinion. We also have to talk about a pitcher that I don't think anybody was looking at coming into the season in Jose Soriano. Now 4-0 on the season with a .33 ERA and 31 strikeouts. He is making noise for this Angels team. Now, I don't know if they're going to compete, but worst case scenario for this Angels team, if he keeps these numbers up, that's a trade piece for you to start to get some younger talent in there with this team. There's a lot going on in the AL. Like I said, he has been the bright spot. He is clear and cut right now the Cy Young favorite. And I think Jose Soriano can really start to get things going for this Angels team. The pitching is important. Mike Trout's health is the next most important thing. Saw him go to day-to-day for a little bit, but bounce right back. So hope to see him healthy in this lineup. If the rotation is going and you can get something going in this lineup, this Angels team could be another team that might surprise some people. Zach Neto had a big year last year. He's playing all right this season as well. So those are some guys to keep an eye on. But let me know what I missed. What were some things that you guys saw this week in the AL, NL? Let me know down in the comments. You can always check me out on social media at Let's Talk Sports. I'm CJ Tully, and I'll catch you guys next time.